On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a poncho that's all speckly. Hi, it's Eddie here, coming at you at Halloween. Yes, it's Halloween, and I don't normally observe Halloween because it's an American thing and I don't really care about it. But lots of people do, and I'm getting in the spirit. So I've produced a few bits and pieces that are in the store. There's a few new colour fade sets, which I hope you like. There's a Halloweeny, pumpkin-y, autumnal one, and there's one I've called the 7 Deadly Sins. Guess why? You can pick which sin you like. I prefer sloth. Yeah, you know it. I know everyone does. That's the sin of choice, I think. Anyway, today we're going to talk about this next whip I have in my whiptastic repertoire, and it's the speckled crocheted poncho. Now, again, I have made yarns for this. This is a specific one. And I'm quite excited about them actually. They're all really, really lovely, and I have them here. The first colour I'm using is this silvery grey with blue speckles, blue and green speckles through it, which is absolutely gorgeous. That's lovely to work with. And I'm crocheting. I'm not a really big crocheter. I'm not a particularly good crocheter. I'm average. You know, everyone says that. But I'm giving it a go. Everyone says to me they want more patterns in crochet, so I'm gonna do it. And this is a big one. It's a large poncho. I mean, this one is the Durris wrap that I have, which is about 400 grams of fingering weight. This is going to be 700 grams of fingering weight, so it's actually a massive project. But a poncho has to be, you know. It has to be generous, it has to be fun, and it has to flow and float off you like you're wearing a butterfly. And that is what it's called, the butterfly poncho. So the pattern is one I'm just making up as I go along. I have done like a cutout mask, so I've got a fairly good idea and understanding of how much yarn I need, but I've made too much, I'm sure. I mean, 7 skeins, 700 grams, that's pretty big. That's enormous. But it's a beautiful butterfly. So I don't think you can have too much, can you? The lacy details in it will keep it lighter as well. And I'm just threading a few little lacy repeats here and there through it just to kind of make it not quite such a solid shape. Just like you would with knitting, you know, you throw some yarn over, knit 2 together, lace rows through, and it gives it a lightness that I think is really quite lovely and quite elegant, done in the right way. So I'm kind of trying to replicate that. I want to have a shawl or a poncho or a garment that you could either crochet or knit. And the secret is I am actually doing a knitted one at the same time. It's one of my other whips. Right, so I bought one of these camera things that I can do this with, and I'm using it on this glass top table, which probably shows up all the grit and grime. You know, we live on a farm. It's dirty sometimes. So yeah, look, I'm crocheting. This is how you do it. I'm not the best crocheter in the world, I keep saying, but I seem to be able to do it okay. This is just a simple double treble, I think it's called. 1, 2, 3. And this yarn colour is called Adonis Blue, which is the colour of a particular butterfly. And all of the colours of this are named after particular butterflies found in the UK and in North America. It's quite pretty, this grey and blue with mottled and a bit of green. Simply though, it's just a very simple increase on one side here, whoop, 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 and a slight increase on there, and that's going to divide up that way and become a poncho. I fell in love with the idea of doing a poncho years ago when I went on a trip to Peru, and we were up the mountain on a tour of Cusco, and this group of local craftspeople and artisans stopped us and stopped our bus, and we all got out and they presented all of their knitwear and wares and etc. And I was just so blown away by the beautiful, beautiful knitwear, the alpaca jumpers. And I bought a couple of those. But there was this poncho, and oh my God. If I didn't have another 2 months of traveling, I would have bought that and worn it every day. It was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. And it was just enormous, and it was massive, and it was just the most beautiful white, simple, lovely, elegant, neutral tones. And I regret not buying that every single day. And so I'm going to make one based on the memory of that experience. We did buy an enormous bed blanket though, which we lugged around the world for 2 months, sitting on a beach in Cancun with our alpaca blanket. That made sense. Oh, now I'm doing that lacy bit. Watch. You go double treble into 2. You chain 1 and then skip 1 and then double treble into next 2. 1, 2. Buckle my shoe. Then a chain. And you do that and keep going, and you get that little hole in there. See it? Oli, 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 oli. I'd like to also talk about the yarns. This is the Adonis Blue colour that I'm going to have in the store tomorrow. I've only got 4 of them at the moment, but I hope to make more depending on whether they sell well. I think they should, because they are absolutely beautiful. They're made from 85% superwash merino with 15% nylon. So that merino nylon blend. And that's the first colour. The next 2 colours, actually I'll bring them all over. Let's bring them all over. So this will be the set. So you can see it's all quite neutral, going from the bluey green through to the beige, the browns and the reds and blues. I think that's quite nice. Quite like that, innit? Beautiful, pretty. So I don't actually even remember when I learnt how to crochet. I know my mother didn't teach me. She taught me how to knit. I must have learnt it at school. I remember when I was very little, everybody in my class were crocheting blankets. There's granny square blankets, there's big ones, just going round and around and around, not little ones that you stick together, but just one enormous one. And I do remember going to the yarn store when I was a boy to get, the next ball, and Mum would always give me, 50 cents to go and buy the next ball of yarn to go around the granny square. But I don't actually ever remember being in a class and being taught how to do it. It might have been I was shown how to do it by one of the other kids. But I always remember being incredibly quick at it. Just zip, 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 zip. And now I look at videos of people doing it and I think, oh, okay, that's how you do it. But I can't do it like that anymore. I'm really slow. And I'm always splitting the yarn, and I'm always sticking it in the wrong hole. Story of my life. Anyway, I do enjoy it. And it has a different feeling on your hands. Like my hands get very tired and tight from too much knitting. And crochet is a nice, easy change to that. It doesn't cramp up my hands too much. How about you? Got it. Crochet, I'm crocheting today. One of the things I do find a little difficult with crochet is I always seem to frog it 3 or 4 times before I'm happy with it, because I'm really rubbish at the shaping. I don't know, how do you do it? I can't manage to get an even side or an even increase. It wobbles all over the place. This is the 4th time. I've just actually had to redo it again today. I need some lessons. Who wants to teach me? Anyone? I'd love that. So the lovely thing about this yarn also is how soft it is, and anyone who's worked with my yarns knows how beautifully soft the merino is. Australian merino is the best in my view. It's got a long staple, it's incredibly soft, and the yarn I sell is 19.5 microns. So that's, I mean, you can't get it better in the store. You can't get it softer than that, I think. But the only problem I have with the crochet is that it all disappears so quickly. I mean, right? I seem to be done with a ball within half the time that it takes to knit. What is that? Why is that? So here's a question for the room. How do you get your skein into a ball? Do you have a yarn winder, or do you have a very, very nice and compliant partner who stands there with his hands out, her hands out for you? I have a ball winder. I couldn't live without it. But since I've frogged this so many times, it's now a ball. Pericoloso sporgesi. So that's all this time. That's all we've got time for. Please don't forget to check out the store at www.magicalyarns.com. You'll find all of my little tricks and treats and Halloween surprises in there. And if you want to sign up for my newsletter, lots of this information will be coming out in newsletter in the next couple of days. So my lovely people, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.